Hello, boys and girls. AEW Freak 1127 here. I have to begin this edition of the UTF Archive Dive. I think we're on number 8 now with multiple content warnings, trigger warnings, a lot of very ignorant, moronic talk about anorexia, bulimia, and probably some other mental disorders because I have not watched this video in its entirety in a long, long, long time. And one of the reasons for that, and one of the reasons that you may not even remember this video, is because I deleted it about, it had to have been 6 months, 6 months to a year. When we're talking about 10, 11 years ago and years of marijuana, um, it's really hard to get a specific estimate. I could go into my Gmail archive that is years deep and figure it out, but this one was probably the summer of 2011, and it's really, really bad. So, again, content warning, trigger warning. If you are sensitive to issues regarding anorexia, bulimia, if you are sensitive to issues regarding mental illness, if you are sensitive to watching dumb idiots sit there and talk about mental illness as if they know what they're talking about, then you might want to be careful for this one. Call me dramatic, but I feel like I'm walking the green mile here. I have not watched this video, as I stated previously, in a long time. But I just know, ooh, and I can feel in the pit of my stomach that there's going to be a lot of stuff in this video that makes me cringe so hard that I tear my abdomen. I can feel it. There's so much I could say before I go into this video, such as, yes, anorexia and bulimia are diseases and they should not be reduced in any way, shape, or form. But we're just going to rip the Band-Aid off, as I am so prone to saying with these videos, and we're going to begin because I know there are going to be a lot of pauses. Actually, before we begin, some observations. The setting, once again, my ex's parents' bedroom. I have no idea what's going on with the facial hair situation. I've just got these two thin tufts kind of billowing off of either side of my chin or my jaw. I'm wearing a shirt that is quite obviously 1 to 1.5 sizes way too small. And I hated that fucking television because it was terrible. Okay, that's all that needs to be said. Band-Aid being pulled now.
Oh. Hello, boys and girls. Undertaker Freak 1127 here. Now, about a year has passed since I uploaded my what I consider scathing rants on anorexia and bulimia. I uploaded about 3 videos total.
And you don't need to know about those 3 videos. This was early 2011. I was 20 years old. And as I said, about however many months before I made this video, I did in fact release some videos against anorexia and bulimia, but not in the positive way, being against as in being a prick. I don't know where those videos are, and I hope they don't exist anywhere because I'll get too curious. I'll go on my old thumb drive and I'll see it, and then I'll want to do a dive and make myself look like even more of a fool. But once again, it would all be in the spirit of remembering, hey, you don't have to be an idiot forever. Knowledge is power.
About anorexia and bulimia, just blistering anorexics and bulimics around the world. This is at a time when I had maybe 50 or 60 subscribers.
Punching down,
I was just beginning my
like Dave
foray
Chappelle,
into doing these YouTube videos. Before that, I was just uploading random things that happened in my life, or some Weather Channel local forecast emulators because I am a weather nerd, things of that nature. But only recently, about 4 or 5 months after that, I started doing these regularly. So now that I have the fan base that I have, and I know it's not a huge fan base, I'm not meaning to imply that, but thank you to everybody that subscribed to me. Now that I have the new viewership that I have, I feel it's sort of relevant to bring this topic back up again because it is something that I'm passionate about. And if you're passionate about something, well, logically, you talk about it. Isn't that nice how this works here on YouTube? Here's the deal. The worst thing you can do to an anorexic or bulimic, the worst thing a psychologist or anybody can do is tell that person that they have a disease. That is the worst thing you can do to someone.
I am telling a psychologist, at this point, and still to this day, not a psychologist, a 20-year-old straight white male, am telling a psychologist the worst thing that they could do to another human being. Cool, this is gonna be brutal. Brutal!
Like that. Calling it a disease means that they have very limited culpability in actually having what it truly is, a disorder. Calling it a disease sucks all of the fault away from the person and puts all of the blame on something else. Something uncontrollable. And the simple...
So that's what my hang-up was. Because I've been sitting here trying to figure out why, other than trying to be like George Carlin, would I make a video like this. And I guess that's where the hang-up is, that people who I thought had a choice because I didn't understand mental disorders, I didn't understand diseases of the brain, I didn't understand fucking anything about eating disorders. These things can just be, oh, you can just wake up one day and that's no different than telling somebody who's depressed, just get happy. It's no different from telling somebody with generalized anxiety, why are you worrying so much? Knock it off. My God. It's no different than any of that really stupid pull yourself up by your bootstraps shit that you hear from people about other mental disorders. But yeah, that's basically the gist of why I decided to sit here and make this video, because I felt, in my expert opinion, that anorexia and bulimia were these things that aren't diseases, because a disease is something you can't control, and you absolutely can control not puking your food up, and that's just not the case. It's not the case. It's not. Okay.
Plain fact is anorexia and bulimia are controllable. You make the decision to not want to eat. You make the decision to want to be emaciated, skinny, thin enough to slip through the tiniest crack in a door. You make those decisions. You make the decision to eat a large meal and shove a fork down your throat and puke it back up. And that's even worse. I know it's been said in a George Carlin rant, but the poignancy has not been taken away from it just because he said it. It needs to be repeated. Bulimics eat a nice, huge, steaming meal that other people are desperate for. Other people out there in the world, this meal that's sitting in front of them,
just because something, and that was lifted straight from a George Carlin special, 1992, back jamming in New York. He did this brief bit on anorexia and bulimia, and for some reason it really, really resonated with me. Apparently it really, really resonated with me. But to make the argument that something is not a problem here because it's a much bigger problem over there, that is called the fallacy of relative privation. It's a fallacy that I try not to stumble into, but again, apparently it is a fallacy that I did not understand, and George Carlin didn't quite seem to even understand all the way back in 1992, that you can have issues here and have them be real issues, even though these issues exist elsewhere and hurt people a lot more because they have a lot less. It does not take away from the fact that it is indeed an issue, and it is valid, and it is worthy of being treated as such. Yeah. Fallacy of relative privation. Yeah, okay, let's go.
They're about to barf up into a trash can somewhere.
God, this is terrible.
They would love that meal. They would kill for that meal. However, this shallow bulimic who wants to look thin and pretty is going to eat this entire meal and forcibly puke it out somewhere. Doesn't that sound a little bit twisted to you at all? But no, the psychologists out there and the other sympathetics want to tell you that they can't control it, and it's sad. There's nothing sad about somebody wasting a meal that somebody would get their life for.
I guess you could choose. You could see it that way if you were.
There's nothing sad about that at all. No. So I uploaded these videos and I got some hate comments and I got a lot of dislikes. I understand.
Oh,
But
did
I am
you?
not one for stifling the truth. I am not one for saturating the truth with a bunch of
truth.
euphemisms, euphemistic language. I'm not one for doing any of that. I'm just going to tell you straight up, anorexia, bulimia are not fucking diseases, period. And I know it stems from trauma, it can stem from depression, just like, like other things that are labeled diseases. You got anorexia, bulimia, obesity, alcoholism, drug addiction. They're labeled diseases. Sucks the life out of the entire things.
Oh! Oh! I might start ugly crying here in a second. Oh, my. So oh. I'm not being dramatic. I guess I am, but I in my head it's warranted and justified because I. So what I'm gonna do, I don't need to explain anything. I'm just gonna get up from this chair. I'm gonna go out there, maybe have some weed or some food or something. I don't know, and maybe just maybe I'll come back and try to finish this because I feel like this is the feeling I'm getting. I feel like if I were watching somebody else say this stuff, I wouldn't be getting this emotional and worked up because it's not me saying it. It didn't come from my mouth, my lips. It's coming from somebody else, somebody that I don't have to, but I have to live with this person. I'm not living with this person because this person no longer exists. But knowing that this person did at one time exist, okay, I have to take a break. Okay, let's get right back into it. Bryce Harper is the NL MVP. That's not saying he doesn't deserve it, but God, I hate him.
And I understand that the other causes, but I do believe in my lack of heart of hearts that it really stems from a girl thumbing through a
Edgy.
17 or a Cosmo magazine, seeing all the pretty girls, looking at her own body, thinking that she's not pretty enough, and wanting an easy way to get skinny. Well, here's a tip. Here's a tip, princess. If you really are overweight and you want to be skinny, diet, exercise, go to the gym, go take a walk, step on a treadmill somewhere, go for a nice leisurely stroll, do something other than starving yourself. And another thing about it, it's a fucking attention plea. It's a cry for attention. We know that you have some weight issues. But you don't need to take such drastic and demoralizing, embarrassing means to let us know that you have weight issues. Hey, if you haven't noticed, this is America. Millions upon millions of people have drastic weight issues.
If you would like to watch the full unedited and unadulterated version of this pile of shit that I thought was worthy of being released to YouTube, head on over to the UTF Archive and you can watch it in its entirety there. And it's easy enough because the link's in the description. Gonna go vomit now. No, I don't vomit. I haven't vomited actually since I was 10 or 11 years old. It's been a long time. No, 16. No, 19. That time I got really, really, really drunk. And yeah, gross. Alcohol is gross. This video is gross. I feel gross. It's on the UTF Archive. Have a good day, folks. And I truly, truly mean that. And I am very sorry that this ever saw the light of day, especially if you are someone who suffers from an eating disorder or any sort of mental disorder or any of the things that I derogated like a fucking imbecile in the little bit that you just saw or may see in the future if you watch this old, I reiterate, video. I don't even remember what I was saying, but I'm going to go do something fun because this isn't fun. This is torture. All right. No, I'm serious. I'm going to go play Xbox or something. I got to finish Far Cry 6 still. Have a good day, folks. God, I was a fucking moron.